Today we are celebrating our 75th episode of Cooking with Ruth. And we often come up with our ideas at 4 a.m., as I've talked about before. And there were several different ideas that we thought about. But we finally decided that we would talk about the cultural fair that's coming up at UW Marshfield Wood County in less than 2 weeks on Saturday, February 27th. And we've participated, it's the 13th annual cultural fair. And we participated probably at least five, six years or so.
5 or 6 times we've been there, 5 or 6 years in a row.
Right, so our ethnic food is a variety of different kinds of cupcakes.
Yeah.
And
cheesecakes.
And cheesecake squares. This year, however, our son and daughter-in-law, Matthew and Alana, are home from their world travels, and their last stop was in Guatemala. And they brought back the most amazing Guatemalan coffee and chocolate. So we are going to have a beverage table this year, in addition to our cupcakes, gourmet cupcakes, and cheesecake squares. And they'll have pictures to show people, and if anybody's interested, they can talk to them about their travels, and maybe some people that are ready to set out on an adventure like they had, can get some good information from them. So we're going to make peanut butter frosting, but some of the frostings, icings that we're going to do are, we have some German chocolate cupcakes that we made, and Gary is going to put the German chocolate icing, which is actually the coconut pecan
icing,
which is really awesome. And we also will have that kind of icing on our chocolate cheesecake squares. We have, let's see, the next one is going to be chocolate. So we'll have
put some chocolate on these as well.
On 3 chocolate ones.
Of those.
I'm going to be making the peanut butter icing, so that the peanut butter will go on 3, and then topped with a little mini or a couple mini Reese's peanut butter cups. And we have lemon icing made, which will go on the lemon.
These 3.
They're really awesome. If you like lemon, we have lemon zest in both the cupcakes and the icing. And then I'm going to be doing a mix of purple icing in a mixture swirled with white icing.
And you're going to show how you put 2 bags into one and get the swirl?
Right, which I thought was really cool. And I used to think, how do they get them to look so nice? So we'll see if ours can look
see if
equally
make it work that way.
nice.
We've done it many times before, but every time's a new adventure. So the swirl's a little bit different look to it.
And if you want to get the cream cheese frosting out of the fridge, I made more cream cheese icing this morning, and that was a little bit soft. So just any of your icings that you make, if they're a little bit soft, stick them in the fridge, and that will help them to stiffen up a little bit. Because as we demonstrated on one show that we frosted mini cupcakes, and that was one of those 4 a.m. things, what I'm going to do today. So I had icing made.
We had it set out too long, the frosting got a little too soft, and so if you go back, and that's one of our very earliest episodes, and it was a little soft as far as coming out of the bag.
So you don't want it too soft, because as you're using your paste or your decorating bags, just the warmth of your hands will get that bag softer. So we've got the cream cheese frosting, which will go on. Our kids' very favorite is chocolate with cream cheese, chocolate chip filling, and then cream cheese icing on top. And you could also put chocolate icing on that if you wished. And then the last one is, it's like an Oreo cookie with the chocolate
sandwich cookie on the bottom, the full size one on the bottom, and then the chocolate.
And then we're going to do cream cheese icing on that, and then we're going to top that with a little mini. Okay. So while you start doing this, and then I'm going to make some noise and get going on this. So the recipe for the peanut butter icing is 1 cup of peanut butter, and you just use smooth peanut butter. And I found with some of the baking that I've done, you really need to have the name brand with some of the different things. I've tried, generic sometimes, and it just doesn't work quite as well as the name brand. So whatever your favorite name brand is would be great. And then 1/2 cup of butter, and that's 1 stick of butter. And whenever we make any of our icings, we always use real butter. I know sometimes you might even find in the store it'll say buttercream, but in that buttercream icing, they tend to have shortening or something else, which is not real buttercream as far as I'm concerned. And when I'm doing the oatmeal or the pecan coconut, I like it, lots on there because people love that. So just top it a little bit more,
A little higher.
and it doesn't. And
Because it
if
did have
we're,
the cupcake had a little divot in it, so
Right, so
I don't
just-
wanna
yeah.
I don't want to overdo it with too
Oh,
much
but that's so
coconut.
great, though. I think people
Okay.
that like it. And then you don't have to, like when you're especially doing the coconut pecan, it doesn't need to be smooth. I think with having the coconut,
Kinda
it
fluff it
just,
up a little
yeah,
bit.
it just gives it more texture. I'm not sure what the word is, but it just makes it look really cool when
Gives
you,
it character.
character, yes. And also when you're making your icings, you don't want to have the speed real high. You want to keep it medium to low so that you're not actually whipping it, because if you whip it, then you're going to have really airy icing, and you don't want it to be airy. Okay, I've got that smooth. We'll just kind of get the butter off of the beaters here. And then to your butter and peanut butter, we're going to add 4 cups of powdered sugar and a 1/2 cup of cream. It calls for cream. I actually am using 1/2 and 1/2. So I'm just going to do this in thirds, which when you're incorporating like flour with milk, very often in a lot of recipes, you start with your powdered sugar or flour, mix that, then put in 1/2 of your cream, milk, whatever you're using, then another 1/3 of the flour or powdered sugar, and then the last, the milk, and then the last. So you have your powdered sugar, milk, and then powdered sugar. And sometimes we do get very messy when we're doing this, and you have powdered sugar all over the place. And I'll let you cut this into it. So when we're making our frosting, we're going to have 1/3 of the powdered sugar, and then 1/2 of the cream, which I'm going to put in now, and then another 1/3 of the powdered sugar, the rest of the cream, and then the last 1/3 of the powdered sugar. Ooh, nice.
I'm gonna wait till you get finished there.
Okay.
Some more so we can talk about how to fill the bag.
Sure. I would keep this going, the beaters going as I'm putting this in, but then it tends to fly.
And you've made things like that.
I have had some horrible messes, especially in the big mixer. When I forget to turn it
yeah.
down,
Yeah, leave it on high speed.
well, not high, but even the higher than low can really create horrible problems. Okay, and then while it's running, we can add the rest of the cream. And just to warn you too, when you're mixing in, whether you're cracking 1 egg at a time, when we're doing a mixture, be really careful when you're adding that to your pan, because we've also had some disasters where our cup accidentally flew in and it destroyed your whole process. Yeah.
To the waste.
And I really hate it when we have to throw out, a batch of anything. Almost done.
Now, when you fill, we found out that when you fill the bags with icing, it's easier to just use a tall glass just to hold the bag up for you. to fill it.
And these were some tips that I received when I took some Wilton cake decorating classes from Amber Hiller, is a consultant for Wilton, and she does a wonderful job, and she makes some awesome cakes. So there's just lots of little things that you might, do on your own, but sometimes just extra little hints help to prevent a lot of frustrations with just a simple thing like doing this. You want to keep your body kind of straight so that as you're frosting, you want it to be like straight down on your cupcake. And you can actually go around at least one more time before you do that final one, so that it can be a little bit thicker in the middle.
How's that?
And when Amber actually taught me, she actually started with doing the frosting in the middle. So you can try that one too. So you actually are supposed to start, you can do it that way.
Okay,
Start
let's
it
try that.
in the middle and then go around and just keep going around. And then finish it off by
back
doing a
in.
couple more.
How's that?
Looks pretty sharp.
And there you have.
So we have, and
Peanut butter and
then you
chocolate.
need to top them then with
All right.
your mini chips.
So I really didn't have to put the little point on there because
No.
I'm going to push it in anyhow.
Okay, the one I am going to do,
Is it this one yet?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this
We'll do the
is
white.
the one that we're going to do the swirl. So on this swirl, I'm going to take some violet food coloring here, and you don't need a whole lot, but you also, when you take out this, you don't want to like put in a dirty knife, otherwise you're going to ruin your coloring.
Okay.
The knife works perfectly. Okay, close to the top.
Okay.
So we're going to put some of the purple in here. And these are plastic bags, and some people just use plastic all the time, and then you just toss them, especially if you're doing a colored frosting and you're decorating a cake. And then we're going to put white on here.
Yep.
Right, yep.
And what do you want me to do?
I'm just going to wait
Hold
a
it.
second, yep. Okay, we just got to bring this down. Okay, now, so we're going to put these two bags in here, and hopefully if we can get them in that tip which is down inside. Then we're going to bring this bag back up. We're going to see what happens if this works or not.
Well, first you want to squeeze a little out, don't you, get started? Oh, it's already started.
This tip I don't really like, but it
Gives more of a fluttered look.
yeah, almost like a lacy look.
Yeah. It's a little more difficult to get it out too because the slots in the tip are smaller. Takes a little more pressure to push it out.
But it's kind of a pretty lacy look, I think.
Mhm.
If you don't think you have
There.
quite enough on one side, then you just put it over like that, and then just do like that. Okay.
Go.
So your last one, you just finish that one up, and
Okay.
we're going to be all set. And that one is going to get some Oreos. So as Gary finishes up his icing of these Oreo cookies, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope everybody comes out to the cultural fair. Thousands have attended in the past, and hopefully they have a wonderful turnout again this year. And we look forward to meeting lots of new people and seeing the people that have been there before. So until next time, as you can see, Gary is going to be really busy with all of his cupcake frosting and cheesecake topping.
300 of these to do, don't I?
That's right. Okay, you can put those on.
Okay.
So, from A Slice of Heaven and Catering with Ruth, until next time, happy cooking. Gary's amazing.